morning. I'm streaming live. Today I'm going to be talking about screensavers and hopefully making one in P5.js. This will be a bit of live coding, so we'll see if that actually works out. In other words, I haven't done this ahead of time, haven't done this kind of thing for a little while, so I'm a little rusty, but hopefully it'll work. I'd hoped to run a practice run of it this morning, but had some issues getting OBS set up and getting my camera working and all the things that I normally do, so dealing with that took a little bit of time. I'm trying to start my Windows 98 computer also, but I think it's having a problem because I had to power cycle it off in VirtualBox, and it's taking a while to start up. It's probably running a disk check or something behind itself. But I basically wanted to show the screensaver that I intend to work on today. I was also trying to figure out how to set up a timer, like a countdown before the stream goes live kind of thing, and because I've seen that on other streams and it seems pretty cool, so I wanted to do that. It looks like there's just a basic Lua script you can install, but I cannot figure out where my scripts directory is on this particular installation of OBS. So if you happen to know where it would be on Linux, let me know. It wasn't in the normal places I would expect it to be, like in my user profile directory, like in my normal home. So I don't know. I'm gonna poke around in there a little bit while this is my Windows 98 computer is booting, because I want to show you the screensaver that I intend to try and recreate today. I don't even know where OBS would keep its profiles. Oh, it shows settings folder. That would help. Found that. Oh, okay. Wow. Got it. Okay, that is not where I expected it to be. Okay, it's in .var. Interesting. Okay, so let's see. Or this is anyway. Maybe there's other stuff, but interesting. Sorry, I'm just exploring my file manager here. Okay, looks like actually .var is where settings are stored, but not necessarily other things like a script folder. I wonder if I just want to get to the script folder. Show profile folder, that might be good. Okay. I don't know. Well, anyway, I'll do that later, obviously. I mean, the countdown is moot, so, because we're starting up here. It looks like, okay, good. Windows 98 is almost ready. And I'm going to be using P5.js to try to recreate a screensaver today. And I did one yesterday, which was pretty, I guess, I don't want to say basic, but it was not super interesting. Like, it was just making shapes appear on screen and kind of moving them around. So it was not amazing, but but the toaster is a bit more classic, and also in trying to implement the flying toaster example, it's going to take loops and like making something loop, and also like introducing some randomness to put different toasters in different places. I believe I did find the flapping GIF, like the wings, the GIF of the toaster with the flapping wings, so I can move that around hopefully pretty well within the P5.js canvas. And then it's just a matter of moving it on a loop so that it keeps going. So yeah, I'll see what we can do. I think I know how to do it, or I think I have an idea, and that's usually what it takes to start. And I don't know how this will go, but I'm going to try to wrap up around 11:30, which, I mean, that's going to be tight. I have a conference going on. The Electronic Literature Organization's conference is starting officially tomorrow, but there's some pre-conference things that are co-sponsored events by the Hypertext conference. And so these are all online, obviously, so there is a plenary from the Hypertext conference at 11:30. And I don't remember who the speaker is, but it's in a program. That's why I have a spreadsheet with all the different sessions, and it's on my Google Calendar, but I don't know it in my head. But anyway, I'm going to try to go to that. Is it Sophia Noble today? Maybe. Anyway, I'll go check it out. Yesterday was Stuart Malthrop, which was great. It was always fascinating hearing him talk. has a, of course, tremendous perspective on things, but also just a really erudite way of expressing himself and coming up with new ways of thinking about things, and I really like it. Okay, so Windows 98 is going. So let me switch over to my demonstration scene, and I will bring my Windows 98 computer up here. There it is. Okay, let me make this a little bit larger. By the way, I did find it took me quite a while to get this set up and working satisfactorily. And if you are doing this, if you are someone who wants to try to do Windows 98 emulation in VirtualBox, something that made a big difference for mine that I didn't see documented anywhere, and I didn't even really think about it, is getting the resolution right. And it just seemed to work a lot better and look a lot better when I set the resolution to 800 by 600, which is kind of the classic default resolution from that era. So I think partly it's that, I mean, the apps and the icons and things, the graphics are designed with that resolution in mind, that aspect ratio, but also that scale for pixel art and stuff. So it looks a lot better when you set the screen to that. But I think it just runs, it seems to just run faster. I think maybe because if you have it at a different resolution, it has to interpolate, and then it struggles, or it takes a little bit longer to render that. I'm not totally sure. I haven't really tweaked the video settings on it, but other than to change the resolution, and it made a huge difference. So just a FYI there. All right, so let me see. What I'm going to be doing here is, where is it? I'm going to start up After Dark. Yeah, there we go. And try to show you the flying toasters. I did, by the way, I started working on a P5.js version of that Def Leppard laser show screensaver, and I'm pretty happy with how it's coming. It's not done yet, but it looks pretty good. So okay, so here we go. So this is I believe the classic flying toasters. I mean, there are several versions of this I discovered, and we'll probably try to keep it sort of simple, but it looks like we have different types of objects: flight, squadron, air wing. Maybe that's just the number of objects. Toasters adults. What is this? Oh, there's baby toasters. Okay, well, let's just keep it simple, and we don't want music or karaoke, whatever that means. So let's see how this looks. I can't quite get my hand in there. What? What is this? Oh, okay. This is like a loading screen for the screensaver. Okay. All right. Well, so here we see it in the classic form. You know what? This is actually not the classic one, because check that one out. That one just transformed into like a robot, and then there's this like baby running around. So this is not the classic. This is, oh, and there's clouds even. So this is like a fancy version of the flying toaster. I'm not going to have time to do this today, but I really like it, especially that cloud that's drifting by in the background. That's a nice touch. Oh, there's a little wren right outside my window here. Hey, buddy. I think might be building a nest down there. Oh, that's neat. Okay, so speaking of birds and activity, by the way, I remember you might have heard me mention there's a hawk hanging out in our backyard. I figured out why, or I had a hunch that it was there to get some baby bunnies in a nest that I knew where the nest was, and I was right. It turned out it got the bunnies. So long story short, yeah, I was sitting there watching it, and I had a hunch there was a bunny nest out there, so I went and looked, and there was one bunny left in the nest, and there looked like there had been more. But there was one left, and so we have this little plastic like picnic table that I put over the nest, thinking surely this will keep the hawk out. And then I was sitting out here, and I looked, and I saw the hawk swoop down, and I couldn't get out there fast enough, but I saw it swoop down and like literally walk under this little picnic table thing, grab the bunny and like start flying off, because I was at that point yelling at it, and it like flapped around. I mean, if I had really planned ahead, I could have caught a hawk with that, and then I don't know what I would do with the hawk, but very much could have just trapped that hawk if I had thought ahead a little bit more. I was surprised that it was that determined, like it actually landed and then walked to get underneath that thing. So anyway, I'm gonna I actually saw a simpler implementation of the toaster. I was hoping this would be it, but I did find a slightly simpler one that I think will be a bit easier to emulate, and I think it's the classicer one, the more classic one. So let me get Firefox back up here, and I'll show you that one hopefully, because it's really just the flying, the toaster and flying, and then every now and then there's toast. That's really all I aspired to do today, and it's good enough, right? Surely. So let's see. I found this. I found just a basic demonstration of it on some website. While that's loading, I will get started with P5.js. These recommended stories are always sort of random on Firefox. To delay death, lift weights, or play Forge of Empires for free. Yeah, great. All right, so I'm just starting. I had to restart my computer, so things are taking a moment to get online here. But this is the P5.js web editor where I'm going to be trying to do this work. And I'll go ahead and do some basics here, and we'll see how we do. So I'm going to go with 800 by 600 because that's the resolution I'm working on for my actual emulated Windows 98 computer. So 800 by 600. Let's just go ahead and make the background black, and there we go. Right, kind of a screensaver already. But let's take a look at this one. This is what I'm going to try to recreate. So this is very simple in a way. You've got toasters coming from the top right, moving down to the top left. Is that right or left? I can't tell if I have my videos flipped or not. But let me see. Do I have it flipped? No, I do. So top right, and then coming down to the left, and we have a couple of different things. Let's see. So this is, sorry, I had my VirtualBox window in the way there, but this is the flying toaster. This is all I'm going to try to emulate today. It's a classic. I think it's a cool example because it's novelty software. It's like something that people had for fun and thought was funny and shared with each other because they thought it was funny. Kind of like I said in my intro to screensavers, it's interesting because it's this quirky bit of computer history, and it also kind of thinking about it kind of puts us back into that moment technologically whenever people had this kind of thought of software this way. Like this is what software is. Like you have the latest screensaver, or the screensaver for the band you like, or the movie you just saw, or something like that. It's totally a different way of thinking about just casual computer use. And I think casual computer use isn't always documented as well. So that's what I'm interested in here. And also just it gives me a chance to practice coding skills, which is always good. So, sorry, I need to log in so that I can save this. And I can also show you my work in progress on the Def Leppard example. I could pull up the actual example, but the idea is it's a laser thing, and it draws the Def Leppard logo and then undraws it and then draws it in a different place. Very simple, but it is taking me a while to figure out how to do it in P5.js, because the idea of drawing a line happens instantly in P5.js. So the first challenge was figuring out how to draw a line gradually, and I got that figured out, but now I'm trying to figure out how to draw each of these lines to make the shape in a sequence, and I'm not quite there. This was my second attempt and refactoring it, and this one I got a little closer actually. So this is what it's kind of meant to look like, but see, that second part looks kind of cool but isn't what I meant. So that's the second part was supposed to undraw that, and I just need to go back through this one. I tried to refactor it with an object-oriented approach, not necessarily working better, so I might go back to this version and see what I can do with that. Anyway, so this is the toasters, and this is what I'm going to try to do here. And let me just make a new sketch. Oops, what did I just did? New sketch. I just made another duplicate. I didn't mean to do that. Clear the console, 800 by 600. And you know what, just to make it a little nicer, I'm going to make it, instead of fully black, I want to make it 20. So it's a little bit gray. And let's go a tiny bit lighter. Let's do, by the way, this is kind of a silly example, but I just discovered recently that the P5.js editor lets you multiply your cursor. I always like a code editor that lets me do that. I don't know why, it's just kind of a fun thing to do. So if you do, and it can save you time, but it's also just kind of, kind of a flex, right? So you click, and then you hold the control key, and then you click as many times as you need to, and then you can type multiple lines at once. Yeah, pretty neat. Right? So that's what I just did to change those 2s into 4s kind of quickly. All right, so let's think about this a bit, and this is where I'm gonna actually get into some coding and thinking through it. So I'm not actually gonna put a toaster graphic in here yet. That'll be sort of a last step. Not last, but that'll be later. First of all, I just wanna figure out how to make things move. And I'm gonna go ahead and set this up in an object-oriented kind of way, so I can do this kind of, I'm gonna kind of, instead of sort of figuring it out step by step and like trial and error, I'm gonna kind of go towards what I think is probably the right way to do this, and then go from there. So I'm going to make a new function called toaster, capital T, and this is going to be a constructor function that's going to create toasters. And toasters are going to be specific objects. They're going to have things like x values and y values and directions. We'll get to all that a little bit, but first of all, let me just kind of create a template for what a toaster is going to need to have. This is a object constructor, so I need to use this to indicate what I'm doing. Like, so I'm making like private variables inside of this object, so we'll call this one x, and we'll just start it at I don't know, we'll start it at the middle. So 400 over, and then this dot y equals 300. I'm just wondering, maybe I should start this differently. No, we're going to do it this way. Okay, so we can start it there, but I'm actually going to start it just to, yeah, I might actually change this a little bit. Sorry, I'm going to be revising as I go, I'm sure. So I'm going to say start x and start y, because remember, these are going to be moving, right? So we'll say, instead of 400, let's move it out over a bit more, like 600, but we'll keep it on the 300 so that it'll be halfway down, like vertically, so that'll be easy to see, hopefully. So then let's also say, let's give it two more variables. Speed x equals, so this is going to be the rate of change for this. And we're going to say, we're going to be moving from right to left. So I want to make the x speed change negative. So we'll say negative 10. We're just guessing at these numbers for now, and then we'll do this speed y, speed y again. I'm going to say speed is, I'm going to set the y speed as 0 for now, because I'm not sure what the right angle is going to be, and so we'll see how that, we'll play with that later. So this should just move horizontally once we get this figured out. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do something fancy here. I'm going to make a function called display. And this is going to run the drawing of whatever this is. So this is eventually where, eventually I'm going to put the toaster graphic here. I was watching a Daniel Shiffman video where he did something similar, and he does a much better job of kind of building up a complicated example like this in terms of like why you need to, and I'm kind of just jumping to the answer. And so first of all, I hope this works. Second of all, I hope this is at least kind of helpful. But if you really want to understand these kinds of things, I mean, Daniel Shiffman's, yeah, look for his video on constructors. It's really good. And it's how I learned how to do this. So hopefully it's right. So what we're going to be doing is drawing a, let's say, circle, or we'll do ellipse, and this will be later replaced with whatever we need to draw that toaster in place, which is going to be the animated GIF. So we'll just do a circle for now and get the movement figured out, and then we'll come back and do the toaster. This should also be useful if you're thinking about making a looping screensaver yourself. Like it should work. So all right, so the ellipse we're going to put at, you know what, we don't need start x and end x. Sorry, I'm just thinking we just need x and y because those are going to change. So we're just going to, I mean, we'll have it. Yeah, so we'll have it there, and then it'll change as this runs. But we'll start it off as 900, 300, and then we're probably going to change that later to a random thing. I think we can do that there. The thing I'm kind of thinking about is scoping. Like scoping variables always takes me a minute. So I hope I'm getting that right. Applying toasters. Okay, so we're going to draw a circle with the ellipse function here. So we're going to draw it at this dot x and this dot y as the coordinates, and then for the size, let's just do 50-50. And it'll just be a white circle for now. I won't try to do anything with the fill or the line. Okay, so that's that. We've got the setup here. Okay, so let's make a variable here that's probably a better way to do this, but I want to make a variable outside of setup. I can't remember if you're supposed to do this inside of setup or outside of setup, but I'm going to go and just make an empty list here, and inside of setup I'm going to just make one toaster, and I'm going to set this up as a for loop, just so that I can increase this number later on pretty easily. So for variables I, this is going to loop through I is less than 1, and so this should just run once. But if I want to make it more, then I would just change this number here to more than that. But we're just doing 1 for now. And so what we're going to do then is going to take toasters, and we're going to push onto it a new toaster. All right, so this is going to hopefully create several toasters for us. And I guess one major drawback to the way I'm coding this, by the way, is we can't see anything yet. I'm just kind of, I kind of know what this is going to do. Normally, I would recommend trying things more slowly. Like try first of all to draw a circle, then try to figure out how to construct a circle, and then figure out how to make the circle move. But I'm kind of doing all these things at once because I'm sort of in a hurry here. So hopefully this helps, or you can look at it later or ask me questions if you want to try to do this and you can't figure out some part of it. So now we need to actually draw it. So what we need to do is actually loop through the toasters, which is again just 1. So we'll just make a loop here anyway. That's t now, and this is going to be using the length function. So it's going to be whatever the length of the toasters list is will be the highest possible value I can get to in this loop. It's still going to be 1 for now, but that will be something that I can do later on. And so then what it's going to do is toasters t. Then we're going to now run the display function of that toaster. Okay. So let's just review here. So we have this function called toaster. It's being set up with all these different things here. This is now being pushed onto the toasters list, and then this is iterating through the toasters list. Okay, let's see what happens. Nothing happens. Okay, what happens? Oh wait, so yeah, so I forgot. So this is I forgot to actually call this a variable. So this dot display, I have a syntax issue here, equals function. There we go. That's better. Let's see if it works now. Now the circle, maybe I should have drawn the circle somewhere so I can see it more quickly, and I don't see a circle. Oh no, what have I done? Yeah, this is the risk of this kind of coding. Let me see, where's my toaster? All right, so what happened? Did we actually, let's do a little debugging here. So this should have we expected this to put a toaster at 900. 900? That could be the problem. It could be too far away. Let's try 700. There it is. Okay, that was easy. That's good. So what happened is I just had the x set to 900, which is greater than the width. I don't know why I did that. So that was, I mean, I might actually, that is ultimately what I want to do. Really, like I want to actually make it start from off screen and come onto screen, but I haven't made it move yet. So there it is, right? So I think all we need to do now to make it move is, instead of just displaying it at this x, we need to first iterate x. So let's say, so the speed x is a negative number, so we're going to still add that number to it. That will that will affect x by subtracting 10 from it. So let's see if that will make this guy move. Yeah, there he goes. Okay, pretty fast. Let's maybe make him move a little bit slower at, like, let's say 5. And there we go. Okay, so that guy's going away. So let's also just set it up for y, even though that's 0 for now. Or maybe we could just make it move in a way that'll, I mean, we could try it. So let's make it -2. All right, so the -2 makes it go up, remember? So that's good to remember. Two positive numbers are going to make it go down. Okay, good. Now, currently this toaster circle just goes off to the left and sort of keeps going forever and it never comes back. So what we want to do is actually make it come back. So let's put a little function here that makes it come back to that starting point after it exits the screen. And we'll go ahead and make it do something like that after the screen. So let's do a little check here. So we know this x, at every time the draw loop runs, we know what the x value is because that's what we're changing every time it draws. And so we can check it here. So if we can say this x is less than, I don't know, -100, then we're going to set it back to something else. So we'll say this x equals what its original point was. Let's say 700. Okay, so let's see if that makes a difference. So this should come back pretty soon. No, it didn't. Why not? I think this could be a scoping issue again. So if this x is less than okay, so sometimes what I do is actually just print what's going on so that I like the whatever the current value is, so that it tells me what it is. And this is going to spray out a bunch of numbers down here in the console, but it should be helpful. Yeah, so it's definitely triggering that condition. So why didn't it change? Maybe it's moving ahead to do this before it does this. Sometimes that's the issue with JavaScript. Like it's like, unless you're really specific about what to do when, sometimes things happen sort of at the same time. That's confusing to me, but that's the case. So let's try this. And I don't need to print that. So now it's only going to apply the speed function if it's not in this condition where it's resetting. So let's see. There it goes. Why isn't it coming back? All right, well, it's about 11:30. I've got this thing to go to, but I'm gonna figure this out. Because we're very close, actually, to making this work. Because if we can get this basic logic of it start cycling, then it's just a matter of putting the toaster there and then making more of them. So what is happening here? Like why? Because this .x, we know when it's negative, we know that this condition is passing, like that it's getting here, but it's not actually applying the reset to make it 700. Or maybe it is, but let's see. Could also be that the outcome of that drawing isn't. Yeah, see? So where is it? Oh, maybe the y value is so low that we can't see it. Yeah, that could be it. Because it's working. Let's do that and see what happens. There it is. Okay, that was simple. That's always good when the answer is actually very, very simple. It was just that it was so far off. It was working. It was just so far below the screen I couldn't see it. And you notice how printing the current value helped me figure that out. So that's good. Okay, good. So really, we want to know a couple things. Actually, we want to know if it's below, if x is below 0, by 100, let's say. And we also want to say another reset condition would be if this dot y is greater than height, which is going to be the height of the canvas. So let's say this is our reset condition, and that's going to put it there. Okay, so this currently is going to reset it to that same point every time. Now I've made this variable like it's not a specific moment because the next thing I'm going to do is create different starting points. So instead of it starting at 700, 300 every time, we're going to have it pick a value. So the x value we're going to always say is, let's go back to 900, remember what we did before, but the y value is going to change. So we'll go ahead and set these both to 900 because that'll be off screen over to the right. Sorry, this is the right for you. It'll be off screen that way. It's going to come back in this way as that changes. But the y position is the one that's really going to be variable. So what we can do here is, remember the random function. So we can have it pick a number anywhere up to, let's just say anywhere between height minus 100. Or, we can do more of that. We can say height minus 400 and up to height. So this is a range. So that's going to pick a random starting point off to the right and a random starting, highness. So let's do the same pick here. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to pick the same thing both times. And it shouldn't. It should appear at a different random point. So let's see what happens. If this works, we should see it enter the screen from the right at different points. Yep. Seems to like going down there for some reason. So they also have seemed pretty low so far. And sometimes that's the case with randomness, like you expect it to be more evenly distributed, or you start to feel like it's not as evenly distributed as you hoped it would be. But if it's truly random, then I mean it could be a couple things. So it could be actually not as high up as I think it is. So let's try to change that to be an even lower possibility. So there's a high one finally. So it's really height minus 600. That's oh right, because that's going to be between 0 and height. That wasn't what I meant. I meant 0 minus 600. So because I wanted it to be above. So let me do. I was doing math wrong there. So let's do negative 400 again, because that's going to be above the top edge. That's what I was thinking, and that's not what I wrote. So let's see what that does. This should be a more even distribution. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's a toaster, and that's, well, it's not a toaster, it's a circle, but you can see the looping happening here, and it's actually already pretty much at the right angle, I feel like. So that's something that I was going to look at and try to get the right, the right angle for flying across, but I think that's pretty good. Now let's make more of them. So this is the whole reason I'm setting this up as a constructor is that we can make more of them. So let's try making more of them. So we've got, where did I make those? Here. So this is where I made one toaster. Let's see what happens if I make 4 toasters. So there they go. Yeah, all right. So looking pretty good. Let's make, I don't know, let's make 100 toasters. So one thing I'd like to change is, like, you see how they start off in that wave like that. I wonder if there's a way to, maybe there's a way to delay that, or to like send them off at different rates. I'm sure there is, so we can look at that. But that's, you can see now looking like a swarm of something, not toasters yet, but you can see hopefully you can see the possibilities here. In fact, let's go ahead and do the toastering of it, and I'll deal with the timing of it a little bit later, because I'm not totally sure how to do that, but I'm sure you want to see a flying toaster. So let's go ahead and make this happen. But let's reduce the number of toasters, because that's a bit ridiculous. Let's go back to 10. 10 is still a lot, and you'll still see that wave of toasters taking off. I'm sure that there's a delay function I could put into this, but let's see. We could also, I think, like create and destroy toasters, and that would be a way to implement like a delaying thing. But I think probably just giving some of them a weight would be okay. But anyway, let's just see if we can make this a graphic. And I'm pretty sure I already got this, but I'll go ahead and check again. All I'm looking for is the GIF of the toaster itself, and that's going to give me the the look that that's all I need. It's just going to be the toaster, and I'm just going to make it fly. And you can get different ones. For some reason, like, you get different pretty unusual things when you look for flying toaster. Like, this is the one I want probably, but you get lots of other random things. I kept getting David Hasselhoff yesterday when I was trying this. Oh yeah, powdered toast man. I haven't thought about that for a while. So you see the screensaver itself, but I'm really trying to get just either that one might be it. Let's see. I kind of just want this. Yeah, okay. I think this is from the advanced version, but we'll go ahead and save this, and anytoast.gif, okay? And let's see if we can get this in here. So basically, what we're going to do is put it here, and do a note here. Toaster goes here. So P5.js lets you upload files into the web editor, which is nice. And they actually will stay here, unlike I've been working in Colab Notebook for a while, and those files get recycled after a while, but the P5.js will keep them if they're small enough, and they fit the other requirements basically. So this is loaded now. Now I can't tell if this GIF in particular has a black background or a transparent background, and if it has a black background, it might not match the black that I set for mine, and so I might have to either remake the GIF with a transparent background, or maybe just match my background to the right color. But yeah, I don't know. All right, so let's take a look at the reference, and this is how we do things. Let's see if we can find how to load an image. Now there's different ways. I think it's create. So I think this is something that I've been confused about before. There are actually two different functions called create image. One is create image and one is create image, and I don't remember which one to use. So let's take a look. So this creates an image element in the DOM, which I don't think we want. Let's see if it's this one. So this is not what we want either. This is creating a image element within the canvas. So I don't want to do that either. So let's see, is it load graphic or load image? Yeah, maybe let's try this one. This is better. Okay, so we want to let's do it like this, basically. Copy some code into our editor and then change out the parts that are specific to us. So we're creating this variable called image, it looks like, or img, and I assume this is the right path here. Did I name this flying toaster.gif? I guess so. Flying, I feel like I've already done, okay, so flying toasters.gif is our name. I assume that assets path is correct, but I don't know for sure. I can't check the path, but we'll find out very quickly if this works or not. So flying toaster.gif, and then the setup is going to load it at 0, 0, I think. So let's see if this works. It should just drop it in there, but let's see. It did not like the path. So okay, why not? says, it looks like there's a problem loading your image. Try checking if the file path is correct. I feel like it is. No? Really? Flyingtoaster.gif. Hang on. I did not think I called it that. I thought I called it something else. Let's try that again. Oh, well, this is, yeah. That's the right file. Yeah, now it's made 2 of them, so I guess the question is, what is the path to these files if that's not loading? And is there a way for me to figure that out from here? I mean, okay, well, let's think of it this way. Assuming these are all in the same folder, right? Maybe these are all already in the assets folder. Like sketch.js is the file that I'm editing here. There's also this other file which is implied, so maybe these are already in the same path. So maybe I don't need assets, basically. Maybe I don't need that as the relative path. Okay, well, it was happy at least. I don't know where it went, but at least it didn't complain about not finding it, so that's good. That's a good start. So let's see what we can learn about where to put this. Here are these. So this is running in setup. Oh wait, I think I probably have 2 setup functions, don't I? So I just need this part of this one, and I don't need this one. So probably just, I wonder if making 2 setups, if that actually overwrites, like the second one supersedes the first one. So there it was. I saw it just very briefly, so that's good. But it's still not doing what I want. Let's see. Yeah, relative to the HTML file. That's what I just figured out. Okay, good. All right, but how do we actually get this in here? That's the question. So this is load. I'm using load image right now. Okay, let's try this. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is right. So, because I feel like I've had this issue before, and I couldn't. I did feel like we did have this issue, and like I don't want it to load the image over and over again. I just want to move the image, right? So I want it to be loaded and then displaced. I don't think this is right here. I think this is going to give me, if it works at all, it's going to give me problems. But yeah, no, it doesn't work. Because I don't want to keep loading it forever, right? So I want to put it in place, and actually I want to duplicate it for each of these. So, okay, well, that shouldn't be too long to figure out, but I really want to go to this other thing. So I'm going to wrap up the stream here, and I'll play around a little bit. I might stream a bit later if I do figure this out and I want to show it off on the stream, or I might just pre-record it. So I do have 1 viewer, so whoever you are, thanks for watching. I hope this was kind of interesting. I'm going to probably keep doing these. I think these kind of live coding challenges are fun, even if I don't totally succeed at them. And this is really just a matter of me understanding what the documentation is explaining. So I just need a little bit more time with that, I guess, and some trial and error. But I'll get back to you with that, hopefully in another stream. But anyway, I'm going to go off to my conference online. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. I'll do this again definitely tomorrow at 11, but I might do one later this afternoon too. Okay,